we've seen some very interesting battles which took place in J&K in August, and then this famous battle of Asalottar in September. In the last part of our presentation today, I will be speaking to you about the Battle of Philora. Why is this battle important? What is its significance? It was the greatest tank battle after the Second World War. The Second World War finished in 1945, and this was the greatest tank battle after that. It was fought between Indian and Pakistani forces. This battle was fought in Pakistani territory. The Battle of Asalottar was fought in Indian territory. So let's take a look at this battle, the greatest tank battle after the Second World War. Where is Philora? This is a map showing India and Pakistan, and the international border between India and Pakistan has been shown here. You see a portion of Pakistan jutting into India. This portion which is jutting into India was known as the Shakargarh Bulge, because Shakargarh is a town in Pakistan. And Philora is a town in the Shakargarh Bulge. It's a very important area because it is very close to the road which runs from Pathankot to Jammu. If Pakistan cuts off this road, then J&K can get cut off. So it's very important. So what did we do? We said instead of waiting for Pakistan to attack here, we must be the first ones to attack. On 8th of September, we attacked in the Shakargarh Bulge. Our aim was to capture Philora. But very interesting things were happening. Who were the Pakistanis in the Shakargarh Bulge who were defending this? There was one regiment of 45 tanks, pattern tanks. The name of the regiment was 25 Cavalry. Very good regiment, Pakistani regiment. And this regiment was located in Philora. And there was an infantry brigade in Philora. So Philora was very strongly held by Pakistan. But something very funny happened. On the 7th of September, one day before we attacked. One day before we attacked here, we had carried out a small operation in DBN. You see DBN at the bottom of the map? We carried out a small operation here to capture a bridge. On 7th September, Pakistan thought that we are going to launch a major attack from DBN. So on night of 7th September, when he was sitting strong in Philora, he was told, move from Philora, the Indians are coming to Dera Baba Nanak, in the wrong direction. So 25 cavalry in the middle of the night got up from Philora and started galloping towards Dera Baba Nanak. And what are we doing that night? We are attacking from the other direction. So there was nobody there in Philora the night we attacked. When 25 cavalry reached Dera Baba Nanak, they said there's nobody here, nothing is happening. So they told, go back. So they went galloping back. Chaos. This is known as fog of war. You don't know what the other side is doing. He thought we are coming from Dera Baba Nanak, we were coming from the Samba direction. This is 25 Cavalry Pakistan. It was commanded by a very interesting man. His name was Lieutenant Colonel Nisar Ahmad Khan. He was later decorated with the Sitara-e-Jurrat for this fantastic operation which 25 Cavalry did. Go to Dera Baba Nanak, come back and then fight against us. He got Sitara-e-Jurrat, which is their second highest gallantry award. This man incidentally has got a Patiala connection. Before independence, he served in Patiala State Forces. So what happened? On 8th, when we attacked, there were two regiments of ours. One regiment is known as 16 Light Cavalry. This is India's oldest tank regiment. And the other regiment is known as 17 Horse, also called Pune Horse. Both very good regiments. They were leading the attack. But Nisar Ahmed Khan had just come back from Dera Baba Nanak and stood in front of them. He came back just in the nick of time. If he'd been late, we would have captured Philora without any problem. And now, this regiment, 25 Cavalry, was able to halt 16 Cavalry and Pune Horse over there. So what did we do? You know, in warfare, if you find a strong force in front of you, there's no point hitting your head against that force. It's better to go around that force. So we went around the force from the right. This is known in military terminology as an outflanking maneuver. We carried out an outflanking maneuver. Swing from the right and come behind to Philora. And which were the two regiments which did this outflanking maneuver? One was 17 Horse, Pune Horse, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel A.B. Tarapur. And the other regiment was a very famous cavalry regiment known as Hodson's Horse or 4 Horse, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel M.M.S. Bakshi. I'll just stop here for 1 second and tell you that Smart Wonder School has a very strong connection with Hodson's Horse because your present principal, her husband is from Hodson's Horse. And your previous principal, her husband was also from Hodson's Horse. And I had the good fortune to command Hodson's Horse much later. So there's a strong Hodson's connection here. So these two regiments, 16 Cavalry, Hodson's Horse and Pune Horse, did this right outflanking maneuver to get to Philora. Lieutenant Colonel A.B. Tarapur, Pune Horse, leading his regiment all the way up to Philora, captures Philora along with Hodson's. Wounded, his arm is in a sling. He was told, go back to the hospital. He said, nothing doing. I will stay with my regiment. I will fight with my regiment. His wonderful regiment destroyed 60 enemy tanks and lost only 9 of their own tanks. Colonel Tarapur died in action on the 16th of September, and he was given the nation's highest military decoration, the Kargil Chakra costume. After this, Pune Horse was given the title of Fakhr-e-Hind. That means the pride of India. Hodson's Horse, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel M.M.S. Bakshi. Colonel Bakshi, not sitting behind, leading in his tank. At a village called Lippe on the way to Philora, his tank encountered 4 Patton tanks. He fired at one, killed it. Fired at another, killed it. Then the Pakistani tank fired at him and put his tank gun out of action. The tank gun got stuck. He didn't worry about it. He charged with his tank against the enemy tanks, knocked out one more tank, and then his tank caught fire and he had to jump out of the tank. He later was picked up by another tank and he went to Philora, carried on commanding his regiment throughout the war. His regiment, Hodson's Horse, knocked out 79 enemy tanks and lost only 8. Colonel Bakshi was awarded the Mahavir Chakra. This is the story I want to tell you. Major Bhupinder Singh, MVC, Hodson's Horse. Why do I want to tell you this story? Because I knew this officer personally. I was a young boy, 12, 13 years old, when he was a squadron commander in Hodson's Horse. My father was also a squadron commander in the same regiment. So we used to call him Bhupi Uncle. And he was very friendly with my father. He commanded Bravo Squadron Hodson's Horse throughout the war, including in the Battle of Philora. After the Battle of Philora on 11th of September, his squadron carried on advancing into enemy territory near a place called Chavinda. On the 19th of September was his birthday, and God had a very cruel birthday present for him because his tank got hit by a Cobra missile and his tank caught fire. Before this happened, he had celebrated his birthday by knocking out 4 Patton tanks. But after he knocked out those 4 Patton tanks, a Cobra missile hit his tank and his tank caught fire. Now the tank commander sits right on top and can jump out quickly. But the gunner of the tank sits inside and it's difficult for him to come out. So when his tank got hit, Major Bhupinder Singh jumped out, looked left and right, saw his gunner is not there. He went back inside the burning tank, pulled his gunner out to safety, saved the life of his gunner. But in the process, he himself had got badly burned. And he was evacuated to Army Hospital in Delhi. And he was lying in his hospital bed completely covered with bandages and blood. And the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri, came to meet Major Bhupinder Singh. And he saw this man lying down with tears in his eyes. And he asked Major Bhupinder Singh, he said, Major Bhupinder Singh, are you in such pain that you have got tears in your eyes? And what did Major Bhupinder Singh say? He said, sir, I am not crying because I've got tears. I am not crying because of pain. I am crying because the Prime Minister of India is here to meet me, and I can't get up and give him a salute. Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri was deeply moved by what this officer told him. And from the Red Fort, in his speech to the nation, he said, आज मैं हॉस्पिटल गया था और मैंने देखा कि एक मेजर ऐसे कह रहे थे. And after that, Major Bhupinder Singh became a household name in the country. Sadly, he died a few days later on the 3rd of October, and he was awarded the Mahavir Chakra posthumously. In honor of this great warrior, there is a statue which has been installed along with the tank which he destroyed. And this statue is in Ludhiana. It is now located in the Rose Garden in Ludhiana. He was a great warrior and we need to remember such great men. Overall, in this operation, we knocked out 174 enemy tanks. And we were able to capture 465 square kilometers of Pakistani territory. Thus ended the famous battle of Philora and Chavinda, and the famous heroes Colonel Tarapur, Colonel Bakshi, Major Bhupinder Singh, and many more immortalized themselves in Indian military history. Some of you may be wondering what these tanks are about. A tank is a wonderful, wonderful fighting machine. In those days, we had Centurions, which used to weigh 52 tons. And the Pakistanis had the Patton, which is slightly lighter, but a far superior tank. Some of you may ask, if the Patton was so superior to the Centurion, how is it that we knocked out so many Pattons and didn't lose many tanks? 2 reasons. 2 simple reasons which we must remember. Technology is not everything. Technology is only part of the solution. The other major part is the man behind the gun. The man must be brave, the man must be well trained. The Pakistanis had a phobia, a fear of getting burned. So the moment the tank used to get hit, they used to jump out of the tank and you could kill them. We had no such phobia. That's one. Secondly, the Centurion had a very, very strong armor protection. The steel plate of the Centurion was 152 millimeters thick. So many times a Centurion would be hit by a pattern, nothing would happen to it. Hit by a pattern, nothing would happen to it. Whereas our own round which we used to fire used to destroy the pattern in the first one. So please remember that it's not just technology. Yes, technology is important, but what is even more important than technology is the man who's fighting from that machine. He must be well trained, he must be brave, and our troops were well trained and brave. So that brings me to the end of the story about the Battle of Philora, the greatest tank battle after the Second World War. Hats off to the brave men of Hodson's Horse and Poona Horse who fought this battle so well. Thank you very much.